Hey guys, what's up? So, I guess for this week I may be a one-man show, which is fine. Just a couple things. Welcome for those of you who are watching live, and for those of you who will be watching after this is done processing. So, just to give you a little bit of a trigger warning, because I know this topic does upset quite a few people, we're going to be talking about faith healing. So I'm gonna go over a few articles. I found this floating around on Facebook, so we're gonna touch base with that here in just a second. As I've said on Twitter, there is a new theme. I'm just trying to freshen things up a bit. I've been wanting to incorporate my co-host into my stream themes for a while, but really didn't have an idea as how to do that, so he's very symbolic with the orange, so hope you guys like it. Hope you guys enjoy it. With that being said, whether or not people appear tonight, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to. We are going to get just another heads up. We are going to get a little bit biblical. I know I'm not going to preach at you, but because of the way that this topic is, for those of you who don't know what faith healing is, pretty much a lot of people who believe in faith healing, this is a stereotype, mind you, they don't touch medicine. They refuse medical treatment. One of the claims is God doesn't make any mistakes, that God will heal me, and for those of you who have been around my channel for a while, my Twitter, my Facebook, I do believe in God, but how do I put this? There's a balance to be had, and I know I say that about a lot of things, but this is like really major because a child died. A child died because of the stupidity of parents. And so we are going to pull up, I do have some verses, and so far the article looks like it's kind of cherry picking, but I think it's using it as like an example, as a reference. So, we got a few people. 2-man audience, he's just a little fruity. Oh, hey Falcon. I've met Benny Hinn years ago in Sydney, Australia. He was a total waste of space and time. God does use modern medicine. Yes, he does. So, with that being said, we're going to kick into the article. This one, there's a couple different articles. There's ones from May, July. There's a couple of them running around because this was something really, really serious. So, I'm going to kick over to the TV here. So like I said, trigger warning for those of you who are watching this live, and then for those of you who are watching this after the fact, just be prepared. Yeah, if you need to walk away, walk away for a few minutes. This was from July 31st of 2018, so this was last year. So this is by Newsweek. A newborn seized from faith healing couple facing manslaughter charges over their last baby's death. And so there are current articles. I just want to walk back a few steps. And Child Protective Services seized a newborn child from a couple after their previous child died when they refused to let her have medical treatment on religious grounds last year. And I do believe one of the other articles we're going to look at mentions what exactly that medical condition was. I already know what it was, but we're going to wait to see if the articles I have touch upon it. Joshua and Rachel Peled were last year charged with involuntary manslaughter by authorities in Lansing, Michigan, U.S. Today reported at the time. The couple had been told by midwives that their 3-day-old daughter, Abigail, would die because of a jaundice-related illness if she did not receive immediate medical attention, but Rachel Peled said in response, God makes no mistakes. Okay, let me touch upon something here because I do kind of bring up the medical condition, and what the child needed at that time was a blood transfusion. And for those of you who do not know what a blood transfusion is, pretty much all the blood that you have pumping through your body, they flush it out and then they pump in new blood. This is used to help with a lot of different medical conditions. I'm not a physician, I'm none of those things, but that's what a blood transfusion is. It flushes out your old blood and pumps in new blood. So with this little comment here, God makes no mistakes. No, he does not. Again, I do come from a Christian background. I do believe in God. But that in itself, that little phrase right there opens up a whole other can of worms. Actually several cans of worms, if I may say so. We could go into sin. We could talk about why God supposedly lets all this evil stuff happen. I mean, that argument goes down so many paths. But, and here's the thing, let me touch upon this as well, because like I said, we're going to get just a tad bit biblical. I'm not going to preach at anybody. I'm not a pastor or anything. When she says God makes no mistakes, you know, if you look back in Genesis, when the first sin was committed, after the first sin was committed, Adam and Eve pretty much was made to leave the garden. We had a bunch of diseases. Our bodies started to die off, started to grow old, pain. All that stuff came in. And it's all mentioned in Genesis, mind you, after the first sin was committed. Like I said, I'm going off the Bible, so we're going to use the Bible because this has to do with this. So the fact that she even says that without looking up the other stuff or referencing like what Genesis says what happened after the first sin, this is what you call stupid parents or brainwashed people. This is why I tell people, don't be sheep, not even with religion. Don't do it. It's dangerous. Let me touch base with the chat a little bit. Let's see. I thought she was talking about Ichabod. Huh? No. The stream theme has to do with Ichabod. Should have used Jesus, He Knows Me by Genesis at the opening song for the irony. Oh, it's not a song I'm familiar with, Gaith. I apologize. And I try not to use copyrighted music on here because then my streams get struck. I mean, it's not like I can get my streams monetized anymore anyway because those get demonetized. Even last week, it's freaking ridiculous. Anyway, they also told the midwife they believed in the power of prayer. And again, that opens up several cans of worms because then you have people asking, which, like I said, it is wonderful to ask questions. And I've told people, ask questions, dig for yourselves. Do not take anybody's word for it. When it comes to the power of prayer, people asking questions, well, how come this person's prayer got answered and mine didn't? Or it seems like their prayer got answered and mine didn't. How come this person died, but I continuously prayed over them? You know, a big thing that I hear, and this is not shit on atheists. This is not shit on atheists. This is just a big thing I've heard time and time again, is that a lot of people turned atheists because their prayers were not answered, especially when it came to a loved one dying. So that again is another touchy, very, very touchy topic. But yes, there is a power of prayer, but there's also the power of medicine, which God gave us to use, and science. And according to the court records obtained by the Lansing Slate Journal, when Rachel Peled gave birth to another daughter, Variety Peled, with a similar health condition 2 weeks ago, the couple again refused her treatment. So they did the same dumb shit again. Oh, well, my child died, so we're not going to do anything to prevent the other one from dying. Freaking... After a tip-off to Child Protective Services, the newborn was seized by the state officials, who took her to the hospital where she received a life-saving blood transfusion. As I said, the previous child that died needed the same medical treatment, if not similar, according to the journal. There are current concerns for the safety and well-being of the newborn baby, as the previous concerns which brought this family to the court's attention have yet to be rectified. And you're going to love the article that I have lined up because, whoo, stupid judge. Very dumb judge. A CPS investigator wrote, a judge agreed with the assessment and the child was taken from her parents. So, thankfully, people had brains and removed the child. Variety Peled was diagnosed with jaundice and Rh incompatibility, a form of anemia, and required a massive blood transfusion according to the records. Let's actually look that up real quick, what that is, because anemia, as far as I know, is either a severe loss of blood or lack of iron in the blood. Let's see. Rh incompatibility is a condition that occurs during pregnancy if a woman has Rh negative blood and her baby has Rh positive blood. Rh negative and Rh positive refer to whether your blood has Rh factor. Rh factor is a protein on red blood cells. If you have Rh factor, you're Rh positive. So I have no idea what the hell that just said. Like I said, I'm not a medical expert of any kind. Let's see. Okay, please, layman terms. Let's see. When you're pregnant, blood from your baby can cross into your bloodstream, especially during delivery. If you're Rh negative and your baby's Rh positive, your body will react to the baby's blood as a foreign substance. Oh shit. Your body will create antibodies, proteins against the baby's Rh positive blood. Oh, these antibodies usually don't cause problems during their first pregnancy. This is because a baby often is born before many of the antibodies develop. Oh. However, the antibodies stay in your body once they have formed, thus Rh incompatibility is more likely to cause problems in second or later pregnancies if the baby's Rh positive. So pretty much from what I gather is that the blood can enter the mom's stream somehow and the antibodies react to it, trying to get rid of it and attack it. Oh my god. Let's see. The Rh antibodies can cross the placenta and attack the baby's red blood cells. Oh my god. This can lead to hemolytic anemia in the baby. Oh. Excuse me if I pronounce this wrong. Hemolytic anemia is a condition in which red blood cells are destroyed faster than the body can replace them. Red blood cells carry oxygen to all parts of the body. So, anyone who's anemic gets really tired. Now, the only experience I've had with anemia is when I was coming off of the birth control and I was pretty much on my cycle for like a full month, had to take iron supplements. Not fun, but that is like my only experience with actual anemia or being anemic, because it does make you pretty damn exhausted. Like you will crash constantly. Without enough red blood cells, your baby won't get enough oxygen. This can lead to serious problems. Severe hemolytic anemia may even be fatal to the child. So, kicking back over to the article, baby pretty much needed new blood because red blood cells weren't being developed fast enough, and they were being destroyed. So, yikes. A form of anemia and required a massive blood transfusion according to the records. Erin Carr, Vardy's uncle, told the Journal that she was still in the hospital but was making good progress. She's still being evaluated and checked. We are hopeful that there are no long-term complications, but I don't think we can say 100% yet whether that's the case. So, this is two children. This is two children that this lady gave birth to that had this Rh incompatibility problem. They let the first one die. It needed a blood transfusion, and they let the first child die. Second child, they were about ready to do the same freaking thing until somebody tipped off CPS, hey, this is what's going on, and the uncle got a hold of the child, a hold of the daughter. So that is a good thing. Again, this article's from last year, so let me touch base with the chat because, oh my god. Let's see, talking, use the right tools that God gave you. Don't try to drive a rivet without a palm drill. Lack of iron. Yeah, pretty much. Let's look at the other articles I have here because I do have a couple. Let's see, this is from April. Okay, so, and again, this talks about the first child passing away because these guys are idiots. And this is from pathos.com. In court, faith healing couple defends choice to pray while baby bled to death. So, yeah. A Michigan couple that killed their newborn daughter because they refused medical care is petitioning the court to regain custody for their two older children. Freaking psychos. Now, this is from April of this year. Rachel and Joshua Peled are charged with involuntary manslaughter in the death of Abigail Peled. Abigail died from complications related to HR incompatibility in 2017. The couple stood before Michigan Supreme Court to argue it was their religious right to deny Abigail medical care due to their belief in faith healing. And at this point, I gotta stop you there, because if you are refusing, like, there's a separation between church and state, and I'm all for religious freedom. I've talked about it multiple times. But if you are killing somebody, if you are causing them to die because of your beliefs, and they legit, what could save their life is medical treatment, you don't need to be in possession of them, or rather custody. You don't need to have children. You do not need to be anywhere near children if you are that fucking stupid and cannot use your damn brain. That is ridiculous. This is what gives the entire, I just don't want to say Christianity, but the entire religious branch, anybody related to Christianity, Catholics, Protestants, Baptists, a bad name, and makes us all look fucking nuts. Because it looks like, oh, well, we don't need medicine because we have this. Which, again, I'm going to show you a biblical verse. It doesn't talk, it references a doctor and the ill. It's using it as a reference to talk about something else. But we're going to look at that verse, as well as a website I did pull up, and it's one that I like to use from time to time. In 2017, Rachel Paletta gave birth to baby the girl at home. Following the birth of Abigail, Rachel's midwife noticed the baby's coloring was off. Fearful the baby had jaundice, which, for those of you who don't know what jaundice is, it's yellowing of the skin. And just going off the top of my head, it could also come about the result of kidney failure. So, yeah. Oh, hey, there's an Ichabod. How are you?
I've been in here for a while now.
Oh, well, I didn't even hear the boop. Like, there was no Discord boop, so I didn't even, you kind of snuck in there.
I wholeheartedly understand. You're fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, while you're there, I don't know how long you've been there, but what are your thoughts on this, like, so far? Because, oh my god.
The concept of faith healing is, in its own right, more blasphemous than it is, veneration. The main thing that people think when they do this is that, I'm following God and I'm putting my child in God's hands. God helps those who help themselves. That's plain in the end of it. Render unto Caesar what is his. This is Caesar. Health on earth is rendered unto Caesar because it's his. Give him the chance to fix your child. There's nothing anti-religious about it.
I don't think the Caesar thing applies to that, but I do get what you're saying. And as I've told people, like, we have science. There's a reason why we were given brains, knowledge, the ability to learn how to do things for ourselves. The reason that we have medicine. Medicine is there to take. It's not demonic. You're not going to go to hell for taking medicine. And if you're on medication, and if you have a religious person that tells you to stop taking it, run away from them. And I've said this before. Run far away from them. Please take your medication and talk to your doctor.
Dick first, and then run away from them.
Talk to your doctor about your medication. Please ignore anybody that tells you to quit it. Just please, for your own safety and health.
And I swear to God, if y'all haven't vaxxed your freaking crotch goblins, we're gonna have a problem.
Oh my God. Yes, please vaccinate your kids.
I don't know, man. Like, this is one of the reasons why I stopped being so active as a religious person. Is people like this who pervert the word of God because they just don't want to do something.
Mm-hmm.
It's insulting. It's disgusting, and it's not something a parent should do.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I've backed away from church and all the Christian people because it's like, I'm so tired of your bullshit. You guys are so just either controlling, fake, arrogant. Oh, just no. I got tired. I was like, yep, done, bye. Fuck you. I'm out of here. Let's see. Explain what jaundice was. The midwife asked Rachel to take her to the hospital. Rachel declined to take Abigail to the doctor. She told the midwife, God doesn't make mistakes. And as I just explained, that opens up a whole other can of worms. Actually, several cans. Instead, Rachel sat her baby in front of a window and used a hairdryer to keep her... What? A hairdryer? What? Oh my god, I had not read through this one yet. She used a hairdryer? Why
to
would
keep
you?
her warm. The following day, Rachel's mother noticed that Abigail's color had gotten worse. Additionally, the baby began bleeding out of her nose and mouth. Her mother pleaded with Rachel to take Abigail to the hospital, but Rachel told her no. By the third day, Abigail was struggling to breathe and eat. While the baby clung to life, Rachel went upstairs to listen to sermons online and pray. Not long after Abigail stopped breathing instead of performing CPR on the baby, Rachel and Joshua prayed for her lungs to be filled with air. Abigail passed away, and the couple did not notify police. Instead, they asked church friends to come over and pray with them. A family member called police when they learned about Abigail's death online. An autopsy confirmed that Abigail died from Rh disease. The coroner ruled that had Abigail received proper medical care following her birth, that she could have survived. Police investigated the death and eventually arrested the couple and charged them with involuntary manslaughter. After authorities charged the Polans, the state removed their 2 older children from their custody. Since the removal of the children, Ingham County petitioned the court for termination of parental rights of the 2 older children. CPS removed the third child in 2018 after Rachel gave birth to the baby at home. The baby also suffered from Rh disease and needed extensive medical care to survive. As the county worked to terminate the Pillen's parental rights, the couple decided to sue them for religious discrimination. The Pillans argued that their decision not to seek medical care for Abigail was based upon their religious beliefs. On April 10th, 2019, the couple and the state squared off before the Supreme Court justices. The attorney representing the Department of Health and Human Services, Kylie Crino, said that in court, the evidence will show that they watched her suffer, they watched her skin turn yellow, they watched her eyes turn orange, that they watched her slip, and they did absolutely nothing. Crino continued. Ultimately, because of that decision to do absolutely nothing, the child died. An attorney for Pillans, Vivek Sankaran, argued that is not considered negligent treatment under our juvenile code, child protective code. The Pillans argued that they did not neglect their daughter's medical care, but rather refused her care based on their beliefs. With that argument, they say they are not guilty of her death.
Which is bullshit. Which is total and utter bullshit. How long is this art? Oh, no, okay. So we're just about done with it. So you sit there and you watch your child's medical condition get worse and worse and worse. And instead of taking to the doctor and praying, hey, you know, and hope they figure out what the hell's wrong with her, you're just gonna make her stuff. It's like, oh, we'll pray about it. She'll get better. No. No, it's all this stuff makes me so sick. That freaking and they caught it with the second girl too. Which thank God they did, because I'm so glad other family members are like, oh no, you're not doing this dumb shit again with another one. I mean, if I was her mom, I think I'd probably disown her. It's like, no, we're done. No, we're so done with you. Let's see. After hearing the arguments, the Supreme Court justices will need to make the distinction between refuse and neglect, which I do have an article that talks about a judge's recent decision, which is shit. The justices could take weeks to make a ruling on the Pillans custody case. For their third child, the Pillans will have a pre-trial hearing to determine their parental rights later in the week. And let's also take note that it's because of the uncle. stepping in that I believe the second daughter, I think it was like, what is this? What is the second little girl's name? Veridity. That she is still alive because the uncle stepped in and somebody tipped off CPS. She's still alive because of the uncle, not her parents. Yeah. Let's see. For the third child, parents will have a pretrial hearing to determine their parental rights later in the week. All three of the children live with their paternal grandmother. So the one that was begging Rachel to take Abigail to the hospital, the kids are with her now as of April. In the middle of their custody fight, the couple is still facing criminal charges for Abigail's death. Oh, please convict them. Please send their asses to jail. The cases are moving at a snail's pace through the courts while they await trial. The couple remains free on a $75,000 bond. Oh my god. What remains unclear is whether police would be given the right to petition for parental rights when they are still facing trial for involuntary manslaughter. Perhaps the Supreme Court can either deny their arguments or hold off on a decision until the criminal trial is over. Either way, there's absolutely no debate in my mind that the Pillins neglected their daughter. Rachel had multiple people in her life worried about Abigail, telling her, go take your kid to the hospital. And she refused to do anything. She allowed her daughter to bleed to death from jaundice and HR disease. Then, after killing Abigail, Rachel dared to give birth to a fourth baby at home. Again, she refused to treat her HR incompatibility. If CPS had not removed the baby in the summer of 2018, she would have died just like Abigail. The baby needed a full blood transfusion and spent weeks in the hospital. This couple has no right to be parents to their living children. And no, they don't. They need to be taken to the cuckoo farm. If the court awards them custody, 3 more kids could die at their hands. So let's hope that the court does not fall prey to religious freedom, because this is not what this is. Arguments and allow a faith-healing death to go unpunished. So this is not religious freedom. This is, I don't even know what to call it. Just stupidity. Fucking stupidity is what you call this, to where you got somebody killed. Let's see, and then there's one more article that is
more of these people.
Oh yeah, no, but here, it gets better. It gets better. This is of the 23rd of May this month. This is from Lansing State Journal. Court, it's not child neglect to withhold medical care because of legitimate religious beliefs, which, by the way, are not backed by the Bible. Fucking hell. Let's see. The Bible does not tell you not to take medicine. If anything, I'm going to show you a verse that actually Jesus uses a physician as a reference for an analogy he's given. Anyway, let's read this, and I'm going to show you that. Let's see. Lansing. It's not child neglect to withhold medical care if parents are doing so because of their legitimate religious beliefs, the Michigan Supreme Court said in an order released Thursday. Oh, and does not give the name of the judge, too. That's bull. And that applies even in cases involving child protection, the court said. The order is the latest development. Go ahead.
Judge Stacy Buchanan.
Oh, okay, cool. Nice catch. Because I wasn't paying attention to the smaller stuff. Let's see. Lance already read that. And that applies in cases involving child protection, the court said. The order is the latest development in a custody case involving Rachel and Joshua Peled. The Lansing couple is fighting to keep custody of their 2 oldest children after their 3-day-old daughter Abigail died of conditions related to jaundice because the Peleds refused to seek medical care due to their religious beliefs, which again is not backed by the Bible.
It's dumb.
Yeah, no, I love that. Oh, well, we're not supposed to be taking medicine. Bullshit. Again, if you're on medication, please consult your doctor and ignore everybody else. Let's see. The Peleds' 2 sons were removed from their custody even 7 weeks after Abigail's February 2017 death. The Peleds' attorney had asked Ingram County Circuit Court judge, and I do think this law needs to go, Laura Bard, to tell the jury about a Michigan law that states, And I quote, "A parent or guardian legitimately practicing his religious beliefs who thereby does not provide specified medical treatment for a child for that reason alone should not be considered a negligent parent or guardian," which that law is bullshit. And I think, isn't Michigan part of like the Bible Belt? Is it in one like that kooky state trend? Are they one of those? Do we know? I used to know the Bible.
What?
If Michigan is part of the Bible Belt?
I don't think it is.
I wouldn't be surprised if it is. Freaking, but no, that law is bullshit. Because say for, let's bring up another example. Your child has cancer. And because of religious, you refuse cancer treatments that could shrink the cancer, put it into remission, make it go to sleep, and possibly not have it come back for years and years and years. But you refuse to do it because faith healing. Who came up with that law? That law needs to go. Because that's now gotten, I'm sure, many more children besides Abigail killed.
Oh, thousands a year.
God, man. See, this religious freedom only goes so far. Like, there's a difference, because there's a difference between, I'm going to bring up the cake stuff. There's a difference between making a cake, or if you are a church, not giving some, and I know this is, again, touchy subject, but not, say, throwing a wedding for a same-sex couple. That is different from keeping medical care from a child who's bleeding to death, or anybody who needs medical care that could have their life saved due to medical attention. They're two different levels, touchy subjects, mind you, but they're completely different. Lives are not at stake if the wedding is not put out. Lives are at stake if medical attention is not given. So again, as I said, religious freedom only goes so far. Oh my god. This is why I stay away from the religious community, because they're fucking nuts. Anyway, let's see. Barr denied the attorney's request, saying negligence and neglect were two different bodies of law in child protection cases. Negligence and neglect, they're different? Huh. The Supreme Court ruled that Barr should give the jury instruction only if it is requested by the Pallets and if the evidence shows that the Pallets were legitimately practicing the religion at the time they failed to provide medical care. Oh. So they have to provide evidence if the evidence show were legitimately, which she prayed and stuff, but no. Oh, see, if they have, and I hope the prosecution is smart, because I would be dragging in some sort of reverend into this. If I knew a reverend or a pastor, oh, you bet your ass I'd be dragging him as like an expert witness or something. Oh, dude, I hope to God they go that route. An expert witness, if you guys don't know what that is, it's somebody who is very knowledgeable on the subject being discussed in that case. Expert witnesses are used all the time. I would be dragging somebody in if I was the prosecution. Like, legit. It's like, hey, come help me disprove this, because these guys are fucking killing children. Oh my god, I'd be so doing that. Let's see. In Graham County Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Kahala Crino said she was pleased the Supreme Court vacated the Court of Appeals ruling that the trial court must tell the jury about the Michigan law. They can tell them about the law all they want. Does not mean that law is, I guess you could say, morally correct or even subjectively, because a child just freaking died at the hands of a freaking crazy couple. This was a gravely ill child who's in need of emergency medical treatment, Crino said. They watched her suffer, they did nothing, and she died. This is child abuse in the first degree. This is not mere negligence. And yeah, as the symptoms were getting worse and worse, they did nothing. They even had family members begging them. So, yeah, no, that is child abuse. The tension comes in because Michigan has the broadest statutory exemption. The Pellets, golly, weird words. Appellate attorney Vivek Sankaran said, other states like California have exemptions for cases of withholding medical care where the child is seriously harmed or dies. Oh, so pretty much what they're saying, I guess that is one good thing about California. If the child is in a severe state of crisis, or is harmed, then they will charge the parents with neglect. The case boils down to a choice legislators made, Sankaran said. In 2017, the Peninsula investigators ignored a midwife's advice, which, by the way, a midwife, there's women who have pregnancy or give birth at home. A midwife is someone who tends to the pregnant mother and the baby. And a midwife, I believe, you get her a few weeks in advance before you give birth and get everything set up so you can comfortably give birth at home. But yeah, midwives, I do believe, are medical trained to a degree.
Yeah.
Advice to seek medical treatment for Abigail because God makes no mistakes. See that? Oh, I want to smack my head against the desk so hard. And because they believe in the power of prayer. Instead, they keep her in a sunny room to treat her jaundice, which the sunshine is not going to treat jaundice. As I said, jaundice is yellowing of the skin and can come about from a multitude of things, one of those being kidney failure. According to court records, after she died, they spent hours praying for her resurrection. Oh my God. What? God. The Pilots appeared to have been involved with a Lansing-based Bible school called Faith Tech Ministries, who described itself online as a non-denominational but similar to other full gospel or Pentecostal organizations. I'm telling you guys, whatever fucking people you're going to, not Pentecostal, because I've been to Pentecostal churches. As much as I don't like the church, all of them would tell you, go take your freaking medicine, go see a doctor if you need to go see a damn doctor. From what I know of Pentecostal, my experience with it, Pentecostals do not tell you to avoid taking medicine. I forgot what branch that was, but that's not Pentecostal. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Don't even no. No. Anyway. Golly, man. This is some freaking nutball stuff. This is, again, this is why I tell people, don't be sheep. Please dig stuff up for yourself. Let's see. Let me touch base with the chat just a bit. I already read that. Lack of iron. Bad way to get there, but kind of happy ending. Well, we don't know the result, and because this article is literally like 8 days old, I'm gonna keep an eye on this. There probably won't be something for like another few weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am gonna keep an eye on it. I really hope these suckers get charged. Just fuck that law, man. The fate of this world is entropy with increasing elements of deficiency and destruction. People like this make a damn good argument for eugenics, by the way. I don't want with eugenics. Actually, I wouldn't say eugenics. I'd say this is a good atheist argument, if anything. Wouldn't be eugenics. Michigan is not part of the Bible Belt. Okay, was not sure. What in the fuck? Hey, mods, get rid of this little shithead in the freaking comments. I don't know who this is.
I took him out already.
Oh, you did? Okay. Wow, who the hell was that?
Random troll.
Yeah, no, I'm going by like the chat bot, and the chat bot doesn't show things getting deleted. Sorry about that, guys. Thank you, Ichabod, for being on that. Wow, freaking.
Just randos, man.
Anyway, back to what we're discussing. But yeah, like I was saying, there's what time is it? I did look up a few things, and again, this was like a quick search, where they do use references like Bible verses references. Now, granted, the Bible verses that they use are talking about something else, and I get after people all the time for cherry picking, but I did go and look. This is a Jehovah's Witness website, but again, religious. And it's talking about, where's that other website I had? Anyway, there's a verse that's referenced here, 9:13, where the Pharisees are coming up. And again, I'm not trying to be biblical or preachy. I want to show you this verse because Jesus uses a doctor as a reference. So let's see. Hearing them, he said, healthy people do not need a physician, but those who are ill do. Now, in context with the verse, he was talking about how sitting among sinners and how the Pharisees are pretty much confronting him, sitting among the tax collectors and prostitutes. But again, I want to show you that there's a reference. I'm just looking at the reference. There's a reference to be for a physician and a doctor. And telling people, well, healthy people don't need a doctor, but sick people too. So that right there should be an indicator. If Jesus is using this as a reference, this is an analogy, saying, hey, my people need to be taken care of, shouldn't that tell you something? Am I on the right track here, Ichabod?
Yeah. Go to the doctor is what it tells you. If you're ill, go to the doctor.
Yeah, no, and like I said, in that sense, he was using the doctor and the ill as reference is to reaching out to people who need help or need God and things like that. Being again, but it was a reference, not. Let's see. No, where is the other website? Fucking had. Where is it? Nope. Okay, so there's. Anytime you go and look at verses in the Bible, again, this has to do with medicine and things like that. You always want to make sure that's read in context. Okay, so let me look up this one because it does talk about how, granted, they didn't have a whole lot of medication back then. But again, there's references for using various things to try to clean up wounds and things like that. This is from Luke 10:34. Again, I'm not being preachy, nothing like that. This is just another example showing that they had alternate medicines back then or alternate ways to clean up and tend to the wounded. He went to him and bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine. Then he put the man on his own donkey, brought him, and then took care of him. Now, this refers to the Good Samaritan story. If you guys know what that story is, guy pretty much gets jumped on the road. Two people walk by him. Third person was a Samaritan, clean up his wounds. Oil and wine were used to clean up wounds back then, an alternate form of medication, medical treatment. I'm sorry. And his wounds were healed and whatnot because he was rested and he got medical attention. So again, another reference to medical attention in the Bible. That's why I'm pointing this stuff out. I'm not trying to preach at you guys. Sorry.
And then Jesus said,
So, let's see. Like the Quran, the Bible is man-made text meant to cow the masses and influence them. Well, here's the thing. We can, like I said, it's a whole nother discussion, Islam versus Christianity. But for me, I will say this, because like I said, I still believe in God and all that, but I've backed away from a lot of religious things, including the church. There are a lot of people who try to control the narrative, keep you from questioning. Like, I'll give an example, and I think I've brought this up before. One of the churches that I used to go to kicked out a bunch of people because they started questioning some stuff, whether that was a pastor's authority, other people doing stuff, or stuff that was talked about. So it does happen, and when you have a church like that when they have developed a cult mentality, that you need to get the fuck out. Like, I'm not kidding. Get the fuck out. Don't look back. If you can take people with you and get them like, hey, you know what? This ain't good. Let's get out of here. Then do so. Something that my dad taught me, again, not trying to be preachy or anything like that, but if you're looking at specifically the Bible, do not take anybody's word of mouth. Take it back to the Bible and learn and dig for yourselves. It's okay to ask questions. Let me tell you, it is okay to ask questions and research stuff. It is. Don't ever let anybody tell you, oh, well, you can't question God. Tell them to fuck off. I mean it. Like, it's getting bad. This is a perfect example of it getting bad. Hello, Tom. Faith healing is completely unbiblical. Well, here's the thing. There are verses that talk about how people laid hands on them and they were healed. I mean, there's a Bible story about Jesus laying hands on a woman who had internal bleeding. And again, she had been through several doctors. Again, referencing medical treatment. Sorry, I'm gonna keep doing it.
Actually, Tom brings up something that's a pretty good story in relation to all this. Would you like to hear it?
Let's see. Sure.
A man shipwrecked. He builds a raft and starts sailing out to try and find help. 2 days pass and a ship comes up. And he says, "No, I will wait for the Lord to help me." Ship passes by. Next ship comes up. "Do you need any help?" Man says, "No, the Lord will save me." Gone. Third ship comes. "Do you need any help?" "Nope, the Lord will save me." Goes on his way. He dies of dehydration. He goes up to the gates of heaven, goes up to talk to God. And he says, "God, why didn't you save me?" God says, "I sent 3 boats to save your life, and you denied them all. You killed yourself."
I like that story. But it's a perfect point. I mean, it really is. Again, that does touch into another topic of why, and whether or not people believe it or not, but there are, as I said, again, examples in the Bible, and there are people have their own testimonies, yes, they're anecdotal, to where people laid hands on them and they were healed. So I do not have the answer as to why some people are automatically healed and some people have to go through the medical process. I'll give an example. I've been keeping updating a Twitter thread. Hashtag is for Emerald. This is a Christian family, by the way. They were old family friends of mine, or of my family's rather. The husband, Mikey Emerald. I know I'm not doxing anybody. There's a GoFundMe I've shilled, and I even did a video about the situation about a month ago. Anyway, Mikey was involved in pretty much a hit and run. He's a motorcyclist and he was on his way to work and somebody with an RV came and freaking smacked him. Left him sprawled out on the road on his back and just fucking took off. His wife did not know about it until hours later when Mikey's work called him like, "Hey, your husband didn't show up to work. Where is he?" And so Mikey's been in the hospital for like the past month recovering and he is getting better. But again, they are a Christian family. And the wife is constantly praying. She's constantly updating. That's where I've been getting the updates from. And I've been posting the updates on my Twitter with her permission. So that's just an example of a faith family, a Christian family who is using the medical system, which is not against God or the Bible, by the way. And Mikey's getting better. I mean, he was literally left for dead. The guy later came forward. He abandoned his RV, but no, he's getting better. He's starting to talk, and he's been responding to them for like a while now. He couldn't wake up. He was moving around the bed or whatnot, and the nurses had to keep readjusting him. But that's just an example of he's getting medical attention. They are trusting God. God's like, "Hey, I got medical people here for you to tend to your husband," and Mikey's getting better. So, I mean, one example right there. Let's see. Flying Falcons. Chambers, that story sounds similar to mine. Delete account. I love how God is supposed to be all-loving, yet allows Israel terrorists against the Middle Eastern people, which degenerates said people to basically base animals in the eyes of Zionists. Okay, that Israel argument is something completely different. But yeah, I brought up that argument, or something similar to how can God allow all this bad stuff to happen if the power of prayer is real? So
Well, think about it like this. My mom, for the past month, had been complaining about not being able to breathe, having trouble, getting around, getting up, having too much high blood pressure, all this, all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, eventually, after 3.5 hours of discussion, we end up getting her to finally go to the hospital. She says she doesn't need to go, doesn't trust doctors, all this, all that. Get her to the doctor. Turns out she needs open heart surgery.
Ooh.
So she's going in, comes out, feels a lot better. A lot of her pain's gone. She's feeling loads better. But now they've got a pile of medications she's got to take.
Yeah.
And we don't know how we're going to afford it. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask friends and family and shit like that, see if anybody can kick in a few bucks to help pay for the medication. It gets down to the point where we are relying on the things God gave us, not on God himself.
Yeah. See, here's because even Bible talks about, and the Bible references like the word sluggard to like various things, reading the word yourself, studying it. Among like the sluggard doesn't feed himself, the sluggard will keep his hand in the bowl, but not bring it up to his mouth. Again, that analogy is used in a reference to knowing the word of God, but it could also be applied to a variety of things. Even my dad even says it best, is that God's not going to come down with some magic wand and go poof and make everything better. It doesn't work like that. We are supposed to be like, again, sorry if this is like a religious argument for those of you guys who are watching, not trying to be, but this is one of the things that really fucking infuriates me about the religious community in the nutballs that dwell in them. I have a lot of reasons why I walked away. But going back to what I was saying, we're supposed to be like, according to the Bible, caretakers of the earth. We're supposed to be taking care of each other. Part of taking care of each other is learning how to take care of ourselves better and taking care of others better, and that has to do with also medication. Our advancements, everything that we have, clothing, food, how to grow stuff, how to prepare stuff better, how to keep ourselves warm a lot better. I mean, I could go on, but it's just like, no, medicine is okay to take. Now, I will say this, because this also does happen where people do take too much medication. That in itself is something that people have to discuss with their doctor. Some people do take medication and they don't deal with their other stuff. Like, I will say this, because I'm going to balance this with the other thing I said. If you're on medication, please consult your doctor if taken off. Do not cut any of your medication off cold turkey. Don't do it. You'll fuck up your body. At the same time, there are people who are medicated who do not need to be medicated. There are people who are on antidepressants who do not need to be on antidepressants. It does happen. There seems to be a medication for everything now. That is also not healthy. Huh?
Misdiagnosis.
Yeah, that too. There are people who do go to the doctor, harass the doctors for medication because they feel like they should have it, and they get it just to shut them up. It's give and take. The balance, it's a pendulum. But for the most part, medicine is a good thing. It just like everything else, you have to take it in healthy doses, just like on the bottle of Advil. Don't exceed more past 6 pills within 4 hours.
To be fair, I do that all the time with like really bad headaches.
Well, you've probably not taken something strong enough then. I don't know. I take ibuprofen because it's actually effective, and like for me, I'll take the liquid caps because it hits the blood a lot faster. When it comes to things like Tylenol, what also uses that it starts with an A. Acetaminophen. It's a weird long word. That stuff is a little bit too weak, and it takes longer to kill the pain off. So I don't take Excedrin, I don't take Tylenol. Advil has a I believe, ibuprofen version. Aleve, I don't take that stuff really. It takes too long. It takes way too long. Like, no, where's my Advil? So, again, though, I'll take in healthy proportions when and if I need to take it. That's, of course, over the counter. So, But we are coming up on the hour mark here, so I'm going to touch base with the chat real quick, and then we're going to go for like a 5-minute break, and then we'll come back, and if people want to jump in the hallway, we can take...
Yeah, somebody jump in the hallway, because I'm drifting off. I might need to go to bed.
No, that's all right. Let's see. God helps those who help themselves, since helping oneself means minimal, if any, effort is required on the part of said deity. John Smith, we'll see. God is not looking for a religion, but a relationship. And no, that is true. It has been about us having a relationship with our Creator. That is what Adam and Eve had with Him till the fall. Not seeing John's comment in chat, only Chambers chat display. What do you mean, Advil? Because you are blocked, deleted after your base tried to start with me. Oh. I have nothing to do with that. So whatever that is has nothing to do with me. But yeah, no, we are from a, again, Christian standpoint, not according to the Bible, we are supposed to lean on God, but we are also supposed to do a lot of the footwork ourselves when He gives us answers like, hey, use this, oh, door's open, go through here, do this, do that, and we actually have to do it. John's comments do not show up in my chat, probably YouTube screwed up. No, he says that you're blocked for whatever reason. I have a chat bot up, so... but anyway, I'm going to kick it to a 5-minute ad, and so we'll see you guys here in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Or 5 minutes, I don't know why I said 10. are back. Ichabod had to go for the night. So it's just going to be me and possibly anyone else that jumps into the hallway. Nope, looks like it's just gonna be just me tonight, which is fine. But yeah, like I was saying, there's a whole variety of paths this discussion can go when it comes to faith healing, when it comes to medication. And yes, there are stories in the Bible of resurrection, which you have Jesus resurrecting Lazarus. You have Jesus healing the woman with internal bleeding. She again went to several doctors who could do nothing for her, which again, let me point out something too about that story. It's not shitting on doctors. It's just an example of Jesus laying his hands on the sick. But again, medical attention reference. There's so many of it throughout the Bible. So what I don't understand about this couple saying, oh, well, it's your religious beliefs. Nowhere in the Bible does it call medicine evil. It actually constantly references alternate uses that they had, or alternate medications, like with the Good Samaritan, wine and oil. Wine was used as a disinfectant for wounds back then, to clean the wound out. So oil, I'm not exactly sure what the oil was used for. I haven't read up on that. I'm familiar with what wines or spirits was used for. And if anything, I think, see, I would have to read up on this too, is I think rubbing alcohol and drinking alcohol share similar ingredients, one of them obviously being alcohol. But I think that's kind of where the idea of rubbing alcohol comes from. Again, don't quote me on this. I need to look at the history of rubbing alcohol, because like I said, a lot of the time alcohol, spirits, wine were used to clean out wounds. So again, let's see. Oil was used for cleaning. Okay, so that I did not know. But yeah, so if no one wants to jump in the hallway, there is one more little topic my co-host gave me before he headed out for the night that we can talk about. It's something a little bit lighthearted, has to do with Coca-Cola. Because I don't know, we could go through, like I said, the list of verses if you guys want. I mean, there's like a ton of them here. Some of them are figurative, some of them are hyperbolic. Let's see. Take cake of figs and pie. Okay, so we can pop up this one real quick. Look at, like I said, anytime that you're looking up verses, you want to make sure that you read it in context. Okay, I don't. Go away. Shoo. Okay. So you get to see me do this live. This is how I do things. This was actually something the way that I was taught how to do things by my dad. Is you want to read like a few of the verses before the actual verse you're looking at, and then a couple after. So like with 21, this is the one that we're looking at. Isaiah had said, prepare a poultice of figs and apply it to the boil, and he will recover. So this has to do with Hezekiah's illness. Holy crap. Okay, this couldn't be even more perfect. Holy crap. Okay, cool. So, again, not trying to be preachy or anything. I just want to show you that there are medical treatment references in the Bible. That's all I'm trying to do here. So this is in Isaiah 38. Oh, I don't want to use NIV. No, gross. I hate, no. Oh my god, where is... I don't like NIV because it dumbs down versions. Okay, we'll go with New King James Version. We'll use that. NIV is disgusting. I do not like NIV. Ugh. No. See, the thing about NIV is I have a version, I compared it to a King James Bible I had, and NIV will either dumb down the sentence or they will remove words, so I don't like using NIV. No. No, thank you. Let's see, Hezekiah's life extended. In those days, Hezekiah was sick and near death. So this is somebody who is dying. And Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amos, went to him and said to him, Thus says the Lord, set your house in order, for you shall die and not live. Then Hezekiah turned his face toward the wall and prayed to the Lord and said, Remember me now, O Lord. Again, not trying to get preachy. I pray, how have I walked before you in truth with a loyal heart and have done what is good in your sight? And Hezekiah wept bitterly. And the word of the Lord came to Isaiah, saying, Go and tell Hezekiah, Thus says the Lord, the God of David, your father. King James is a little bit wordy. I have heard your prayer, I have seen your tears. Surely I will add to your days 15 years. I will deliver to you and the city from the hand of the king of Israel, and I will defend the city. And this is a sign to you from the Lord, and the Lord will do this thing which he has spoken. Behold, I will bring the shadow. Okay, let me skip down a little bit. Let's see. This is a writing of Hezekiah, king of Judea, when he had been sick and had recovered from his sickness. So, I said, in the prime of my life, I shall go to the gates of Sheol. Sheol, for those of you who do not know what that is supposed to be... It's not hell, but it's almost like the in-between heaven and hell, where you await, if I believe that's my understanding of what that is. I'm deprived the remainder of my years. God, I'm trying to... Hold on, because I'm not trying to bore you guys with this stuff. Yeah, this is a bit too much. But anyway, so yeah, he was given some sort of medical attention. Yes, there was, in a way, a type of faith healing, but there was also medical attention to it. Let them take a lump of figs and apply it as a poultice on the boil, and he shall recover. Now, what a poultice is, I have no idea. I'm sorry, this is a little bit janky. Okay, so a poultice... Let me see if I say that right. Poultice. Okay. A soft, moist mass material, typically of plant material or flour, applied to the body to relieve soreness and inflammation and kept in place with a cloth. So, this was a type of medical attention this king received. Again, sorry about all the extra stuff. I was trying to see if there was any more reference to it up top. But again, more medical attention reference, more references of medicines being used. So again, going back to the article of how Rachel Plitt claimed that she was following her religious beliefs. What religious beliefs? Where in the Bible? Where does it say you can't take medicine? When there's several references, both in the Old and New Testament, of people getting medical attention for various wounds and sicknesses and whatever else may ail them. I mean, oh my God. Go through them if you want. Preach it, sister. NIV, ew. Yeah, no. See, I don't like NIV either. NIV, it just, like I said, and it caught me. I will tell you how I caught them taking out words. There's a particular verse, because I was having a discussion with my parents over like the instruments of David or whatnot. The King James Version, I forgot what verse it was I was using for reference. The King James Version had listed all these instruments being used or whatnot and things like that. So I remember that verse and I remember some of the words. And so when I looked up the same verse in the NIV version, I noticed that some of the words were missing and the sentence was dumbed down. So like, I stopped using my NIV Bible. I stopped because it's like I can't do it. It just, no, this is missing shit. This is not okay. But yeah, so there's Isaiah. There's a whole story of how a king was getting ready to like freaking die. Yes, he did pray to the Lord, but he also received medical attention. So yeah, Isaiah 38. Let's see. Revelations, let's see, for his wounds, but he binds up, shatters up, but his hands heal. Okay, what is that about? That could be just an analogy. Again, you want to be careful when looking stuff up. Make sure you do it in context, please. Please, please, please do it in context. And if you don't know something, it's okay not to know something. I tell people all the time there's stuff that I do not know. Let's see. NIV, no, go freaking, I don't want that version. That's disgusting. Okay. So what was the first you were looking for? 518. 518. Let's see. Behold. Okay, so this is something completely different. Is it like a song? It's out of Job. The story of Job is like really, really messed up. But within that story, again, behold, happy is the man whose God correcteth, therefore despise not thou chastising the Almighty, for he maketh sore and bindeth up, he woundeth, and his hands make whole. That, I don't think that verse really applies. I would have to look into see into what they're talking about, so I would not use that one for any type of argument. That's just me. Renewal of the mind. Okay, that has nothing to do. That's not a medical reference of any kind. Let's see. You have used many medicines. There's no healing. Okay, let me look up this one because I could just see somebody like taking this one and twisting it. Let's see. And this was Jeremiah 46:7. Go to Gilead and get balm, virgin daughter Egypt, but you try many medicines in vain. There is no healing for you. So pretty much like the notes. Again, I could see somebody twisting this. That day belongs to the Lord, the God of hosts. A day of vengeance, and avenge himself against his foes. So let's see, Jeremiah. Let me see what this is pretty much about. Hold on, let me just look up the entire chapter. You get to see me do this shit live. I know, fun, right? Okay, so yeah, this says, okay, this sounds like God went out of his way to punish somebody. A day of vengeance. Okay, so yeah, this is pretty much God getting revenge on somebody. Jeremiah 46. So that particular verse, I would not use that either way for an article in regards to medical treatment. But you guys get my point. Luke, the beloved physician, greets you, as does Demas. Oh, so that's referencing someone being a physician. Great crowd. Song. Okay, yeah. So this talking about like the woman who had internal bleeding. And there's a woman who had a discharge of blood for 12 years and had suffered much under many physicians. Which again, let me point out, this is not a verse shitting on doctors or anybody getting medical attention. This is just documentation of a lady who had been through several physicians who could not help her. That's all that means. And had spent all that she had and was no better, but rather grew worse. So yes, there's a such thing as bad doctors. And again, my advice is this: if you feel like one doctor has made a mistake on something, then kindly go seek the second opinion of another doctor. Get multiple opinions if you must, but getting medical attention is not evil. Please do so if you need it. She had heard the reports about Jesus, came up behind him in the crowd and touched his garment, for she had said, if I even touch his garments, I'll be made well. And Jesus stopped and turned around and asked who touched him and told her faith had made her well. So, again, but you guys see my point. I mean, it could take hours just to go through all the stuff, because some of the stuff is not anecdotal. Some of it's figurative. Some of them are hyperbolic. Some of them have multiple layers of nuance in there. So we're not going to go through all these. No, there's no way. Anyway, let me touch base with the chat, and then we're going to bring up another article. I would get on if I was not eating. Oh, that's okay, Falcon. So in other words, God is a jerk. Not a jerk. Again, you would have to, I skimmed through that, and it was talking about getting vengeance and pretty much telling Egypt, no matter what you do, I'm going to get you. So, or rather, you're gonna pay for this. That was Jeremiah 46. I don't know off the top of my head what that chapter's about, so somebody's in trouble though. By the way, this is Jack of Blades from Discord. Oh, okay. But yeah, we got about another 40 minutes, so let me bring up that other article. Again, it has nothing to do with this. It's a completely different topic, but it's just kind of like a little interesting thing, I guess, just to kind of wrap up, because I don't even know what more else to say on the freaking faith healing crap. Please go to a doctor. If you need a second opinion, go to another doctor. If you're taking medication, please consult your doctor before quitting medication. Don't just cut cold turkey. If you have people trying to get you off your medication that is not your physician, run away from them. Run far away. Anyway. So again, this has to do with Coca-Cola. So this is like a little fun one we'll be wrapping up with. Coca-Cola acquires Moxie, soda beloved in New England. I've never had Moxie. I've never even heard of Moxie. Let me see what exactly that is. Oh, okay. Moxie is a brand of carbonated beverage that was among the first mass-produced in soft drinks in the United States. So, that's interesting. I guess it's older than Coca-Cola. That's kind of cool. Portland, Maine soft drink giant Coca-Cola announced on Tuesday it is acquiring Moxie, a long-lived and beloved New England soda brand that is the official state beverage of Maine. Moxie's been around since the 19th century and is famous in New England for its unique flavor, which is a product of a root extract that gives it a distinctive taste that polarizes drinkers. I've never seen the drink before, so... Coca-Cola said Tuesday it's acquiring the brand from Coca-Cola of Northern New England, an independent bottling partner of the larger company that bottles in Bedford, New Hampshire. Oh, so it's kind of a little franchise company. Bottling of the soda will remain in New Hampshire, said Lauren Thompson, a spokeswoman for Coca-Cola, said the company's goal is to work to protect the heritage and regional culture of the brand. And that Coca-Cola had also been seen as an opportunity to bring Moxie's brand to a wider audience, which, if it's that good, I mean, it does sound real good. Moxie is a great brand with a great heritage. Coca-Cola Northern New England has been a strong steward in the brand over the last decade, and we take seriously our responsibility to ensure it stays true to its northern roots, she said. Coca-Cola declined to provide the price of the sale, was probably really high, which is expected to close in the fourth quarter of this year. Coca-Cola North America has entered into a definitive agreement with Coca-Cola of North New England, Thompson said. Holy crap, these tongue twisters. Representatives for Coca-Cola of Northern New England did not immediately return calls seeking comment. Moxie is the most closely associated with the state of Maine, where it is the subject of the annual Moxie Festival in Libsyn, a river town of 8,800 people. The drink is widely used as a mixer in New England, where it is used to make Moxie cocktails. So, that's kind of interesting. Like I said, I've never heard of the soda. Have you guys in the chat heard of this soda? Let's see. Let's see. Hi. One is still in there. Sorry if this stream's a little bit weird tonight. I had some biters for this stream, but yeah. Let me see what else we could bring up here. Because that other stuff I don't know. What? Let's see. Coca-Cola acquires. We could talk a little bit about the Vic Mañana stuff, if you guys want, because if you guys do not know, there's another stream tonight, by Nick Rakita, where the hearing was today. Just from what I have gathered, and there's a reason why I don't go over the court documents, because there's a lot of it in there that I don't fully understand. As for the many of you who have been around my channel for quite a while, I am more familiar with custody cases. I'm not a legal expert, none of that stuff, but I can understand court documents from custody battles a bit better than I can from something like this, like a defamation case. Pretty much what I have gathered, just from what I've seen, a couple of Kiwis, people from Kiwi farms, actually were able to go into the hearing this morning and were able to kind of bullet point some of the stuff that happened, and just from the little bit I've seen, is pretty much the judge chastised both Ty Beard and Casey Eric for not settling this outside of court. And then there was something, it's called an anti-slap or TCP. Casey was not allowed to have it. Again, I don't go over the court documents. I know everybody's been jumping on them. I do not touch them because I don't really understand them. I've been collecting them for people to go and look for themselves. But yeah, I can actually pull up real quick what an anti-slap is. Because I know Nick has gone over it before in his streams. And again, please tune into his streams. It's at 11 p.m. Central. And he did already put out the link for it on his Twitter. I did retweet it. Let's see. So pretty much a strategic lawsuit against public transportation. A strategic lawsuit against public participation is a lawsuit that is intended to censor, intimidate, and silence critics by burdening them with the cost of a legal defense until they abandon their criticism or opposition. So, according to what some of the Kiwis have said, Casey was not allowed to have an anti-slapped motion put in there. Again, Nick is going to go over all this, and of course I will be clipping parts that stick out. What else can we cover? There's a little bit going around, and some people have jumped on it, others haven't, others are kind of holding off. In regards to Jamie Markey being fired from Fan Animation, stop spreading this around. She's not been fired. Was it SG Sammy was asking if she was? People are assuming that she was, due to her being substituted in an episode 6 of Witch Trackers. That's the name of the anime. I don't watch it. I have no idea what the hell it's about. Just to kind of point out, it does happen all the time. I had 2 other people in the thread bring up 2 other shows. Riding Hood with red hair was another example someone brought up, and then there was one more anime. It does happen to where the voice actor is not able to make it for their scheduled recording, so they ask someone with a similar voice to step in. There's even some characters that have 2 VAs. This is not an anime, but the character that comes to mind, if you guys remember the show Foster Home for Imaginary Friends, one of the main imaginary friends, Blue Regard Q Kazoo, he had 2 voice actors that would interchange, because if you were listening closely, you could catch what when the voice actors changed it out. He had 2 voices. Or 2 people that would voice them. So it does happen. Please quit spreading this around. If she had been fired, there would be squawking. There really would. Some people speculate the Funimation wouldn't say anything. It's just like, yeah, they would. More people would be buzzing and talking about it. So please stop spreading it around. She did not get fired. There's no proof for it. She just got substituted for an episode. Let's see. What else is there? The Google Drive, which is in the link to that is in the description. It's been updated with all the court documents up to today, as of I think like 4 p.m. I don't know when the transcripts are going to be in there. As Vic's motion for confidentiality got denied, so we're going to be getting more stuff in there. I've either been buying the documents, or I've had some people who are very kind enough to either email them me or tag me in a post as to where to get them. Let's see, what else can we talk about? Talk about a little bit, because other people are kind of covering it too. Sorry, this is like kind of wrapping up my stream here. Vic getting his venue or appearance canceled at a mall. I believe, was it North Carolina? I forgot what mall it was, but there's an email floating around. Pool had reposted it. People went out of their way to bug this mall. And from what I understand, linked one of the mall directors or mall staff, Christina Paul, like an Ann article, the IO9 article, and got him like pretty much shut down for the event because he's supposed to make an appearance, and then he went to a dojo. So honestly, here's the thing, because I know at convention, I was seeing a convention a week or so back, how they were kind of keeping anybody who's involved in this away, and they had already went through and invited all the guests that they wanted to be at their particular convention. When it comes to things like this, I just, first off, the mall staff is stupid for dropping the event. Because if you're linked to articles, I mean, you should fucking know better than more than take them with a grain of salt, because there's no proof in those articles whatsoever. Number two, I don't think they even, before they shut down, I don't even think they got in contact with Vic Mañana. Again, I don't know. This was a quick thing, like, hey, we're appearing at this mall. Oh, hey, we're shut down and moving over here. So I don't know if there was any communication between the mall staff and Vic Mañana. I have no idea. I haven't seen anything of it, and I haven't heard anything of it. It was still pretty messed up. Supposedly this idea originated out of some freaking Discord, big Discord. Even Pool, I was laughing because even Pool was kind of shitting on that. Even Pool knew that it was a bad idea. Don't ever make a Discord server just for gay ops. Don't do it. Because that stuff usually gets leaked, and it's just a very, very nasty mess. Let me see. Let's see. I heard the word Moxie, but not soda. Talk about anything you want. Look at Cosmo for season 1 of FOP. I don't know what FOP is. What is FOP? I don't know what FOP is. Let's see. Sorry, I might end the stream early because, yeah, I was hoping this conversation get a little bit. Ops? What is it? Operation. Pretty much. Oh, Fairly Odd Parents. Look at Cosmo from season. Oh, you're talking. Okay, you're referencing that Cosmo had several voice actors. Oh, did Cosmo really have several voice actors? Oh my god, it's been forever since I've actually seen that show. Hold on. Let me actually look that up. Let me get rid of all this other stuff. Now that you think about it, I do think I remember hearing at least 2 voices. Hold on. Anti-Cosmo. I liked Anti-Cosmo. Voice. Oh, there's a voice change too. Okay, so let's see. Well, there's a vast vocal change between what Cosmo to turn sounded like in the current episode was at no time replaced with someone, nor was Nor's replacement for another actor. He just exaggerated the voices for his characters. Okay. So it doesn't say that Cosmo had multiple voices. Is that, I don't know what you were referring, I thought you were referring Cosmo about the multiple voice actors. Oh, adults watching kid shows. Okay. Okay, his voice was suave in season 1. Yeah, no, it just, apparently the voice actor decided to change up the way that he did his voice. From what it says here, that he was never replaced. Though it does It does kind of sound like it. Let me actually make sure I am right about the Foster's home. Because Blue had very two distinct voices. Hold on. Very two distinct voices to him. Blue Regard, Keith, let's see. Best known for the voiceover roles of Blue Kazoo. Okay, so they have Keith Ferguson. Let me just look up the IMDb for that because let's see. Voice, or actually, let me do this. See if it pulls up more than one. Will Eduardo. I could be wrong about the Blue Regard one too. Maybe he changed his voice up as like the voice actor for Cosmo. Imaginary Friends. IMDb. Let's see. No, looks like I was wrong about Blue. Let's see. Kazoo, Clumsy Man. Yeah, no, it looks like he only had one, but I don't know why the voice actor would change up his voice that much. Let's see, two. Because he had more like a high-pitched, whiny one, and then he had a somewhat deeper one. Let's see, he has two. Yeah, it looks like he was only voiced by one person. Well, my bad, guys. Damn, and I thought I had a good example. Let's see, by Keith Ferguson. Yeah, no, he only has one voice actor to him. Well, why the fuck did he keep changing up the voice? Oh my god. Anyway, so Blue's not a good example. What is a good example of a character that has two voice actors? They've done it before, but I thought Blue was a good example. My bad, guys. Oh shit. Anyway, like I was saying, Nick, we have no proof that Jamie Marchi was replaced. So don't spread that around. What else? Anything else last minute? Because I think I'm about ready to kill it here. Adult watching kids shows. Hey, I don't really watch much shows anymore. Due to the media and just I don't have cable and depending like I'll watch DBZ when I watch some anime, but as for like cartoon shows themselves, I think the cartoon stuff I watch is like Archer or there was one I was watching with my husband. It was by the same creators who did The Simpsons. I forgot what that one was called. The main protagonist was named Bean, had like a little demon thing following her around and like this really weird magical elf thing. Batman the Animated Series is good. I don't either. I'll never get cable. Yeah, I won't. Me and my husband stream everything, or we'll see if we can find episodes of stuff online. Simply because cable's too expensive and there's just like a lot of garbage that you pay for that I wouldn't watch. Like there's plus the cable companies aren't really fair with your bills. Like with my internet company alone, because I could get cable through them if I want. But the slow and steady creep of the price that keeps going up and up and up, especially when you get a special deal that's supposed to last for like a year, and then you notice it just kind of slowly go higher and higher and higher, and no idea why, no reason, it just continues to go higher. I had a cell phone bill like that. It's kind of annoying. No, and it's not, and that's why cable That's why you see a lot of online platforms, especially YouTube. YouTube is trying to be cable now, of all things. For a while, YouTube had cable B, but now they're trying to mimic them. You have a lot of online platforms like Hulu. A lot of these streaming platforms are trying to go cable, like online cable, and it's stupid. They're trying to sneak in more ads. Like, I can't expect. Facebook's the same way. Any Facebook video you watch has a stinking ad on it. I can't even get through one Facebook video without some stupid ad popping up. So they're sticking ads everywhere because they can't get people to pay attention to the television so much anymore. That's why you see a lot of news outlets move to YouTube and these other online spaces, because that's where everybody is now. But it's not gonna help anything, because you go from one platform and trying to convert into the same thing you just came from. People are gonna run away from it again. Not to mention the news pretty much is full of shit these days. Let's see. Oh, no. Crap. Whose server am I in? Oh, it's Falcon. Okay, hey, cool. Sorry about that, buddy. Hold on. Okay, you were unmuted. I didn't realize you were in there.
I was actually just right as you pulled me in typing in the chat that hey, check the hallway.
Oh, okay, cool. So I know that we've kind of like sauntered off or kind of wandered off like into like weird ass tidbits and crap. But did you have anything on like the prior topic, like with the faith healing stuff or anything that was like mentioned? I know Coca-Cola stuff was like out of nowhere. I was desperate. Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely, and that's... Go ahead. Yeah, and that's what kind of drives me crazy, because I've seen, I think I brought it up, granted it was a TV episode, but stereotypes come from somewhere, they're just not made up out of the blue. And I believe it was on the stream talking about anti-vaxxers or whatnot, and I was talking to Miss Steam about it, to where there was this patient, again, this was on TV, where they were kind of mimicking what Jehovah's Witnesses believed, whether that was exaggerated or downplayed. And pretty much the story was this kid had some sort of issue with his body, and he needed a blood transfusion. But the family refused because they believed God would heal them. I'm not making this shit up, because it's just, this stuff is so fucking great. They do believe in some weird shit. I used to have them knock on my door, 9 o'clock in the morning. I used to have Mormons knock on my door and drive around my neighborhood. Well, that is funny. But yeah, no, they stopped coming around my neighborhood, and they never came to my door specifically, but I would see them biking around the neighborhood, and you can tell when they're dressed in a suit and a tie and they're on bicycles. But yeah, that lady, that the Jehovah Witness was like at my door every 2 weeks for I think a year, and then just they don't come around here anymore. I don't hear if anybody knock on the doors. It hasn't happened to me for like quite a few years now. So it's just like, I wonder what happened. Probably got tired of knocking on his door, telling him like, go away. Anyway, getting back to like the. Go ahead. What?
That is such a Dutch thing. You don't find that anywhere else. But they're doing it.
I had, and this was when I was on DA or DeviantArt. This was a few years back. I had somebody message me this deluge of stuff. How we're supposed to seek like happiness or something, and they were referencing like all these Mormon figures, and it's just like, I don't even know who the fuck these people are. Well, I've never even heard of these people before. Oh, it's crazy some of the stuff that they believe. And the funny thing is, not only do they use like the Holy Bible, and this is again, I'm not shitting on anybody who's Mormon, so, but they also added a second Bible too. It's just like, how the fuck do you add that doesn't even make any sense. But anyway, getting back to the episode I was talking about, and this particular one, it's one of those doctor shows. So the kid needed blood transfusion. Parents said no. One of the nurses was getting real tired, or one of like the assistant doctors was getting real tired of these parents' shit. So she tried to sneak a blood transfusion to this kid and got busted by her higher up, and pretty much threatened with termination if she went through with it. But the kid died, and the blood transfusion could have saved his life. Again, it was a doctor show, but just from like the crap that we just read. It's a legitimate stereotype, and it legit happens. So it's like, oh my god, it's so crazy and so dangerous. I mean, it really is. It just like, how can you sit there? And I'm not saying the power of prayer doesn't work. We're not even going to open up that can of worms either. But if you're sitting there and you see someone who needs medical attention and they are bleeding from places that they really shouldn't be bleeding from, I think it's about time you need a damn doctor or an ambulance. Something. The Bible, I do believe in God. I come from a Christian background. But at that point in time, the Bible ain't gonna do jack diddly shit for you. Get your ass to a doctor. Or call an ambulance. Do something to where you're gonna get medical attention for that person. I mean... What? Wow. And he didn't call an ambulance or like do anything?
No. An off-duty cop who actually called the emergency number, and there apparently there was like a dozen people watching. But actually, in a weird way, that kind of reminds me of the Good Samaritan. Someone acted for him. A Samaritan, someone who, the Jews did not like the Samaritans. So and they really didn't interact at all. But the Samaritan didn't have to do anything, but went well above and beyond what anyone else would have done. And yes, Skull, I do know my sound is low.
Oh, this is... Let me see if I can turn... I just... Oh! Oh my god! Guys, I am so... Okay,
What's going on?
you might want to repeat what you just said, because Skull, I'm actually glad that you were reading the chat there, Falcon, because my desktop audio was not on because I had turned it off for the ad, so kindly repeat what you just told me. I'm sorry. Repeat it for the audience. I did a
Okay,
boomer.
I'll say it in a more streamlined fashion. On February 17th, 2018, I was on a bike. The bike is naturally extremely reflective just because of basically it's a mirror because of the material it's made out of. I was wearing a high visibility jacket, an extremely bright light, and taillight. The taillights actually got me pulled over by a cop because it's so annoying. But I followed the letter of the law. Guy ran a red light, hit me, and then left me laying in the middle of the road. And some other guy, probably half a dozen people watching me just laying there. Some bystander just records a video on his phone, about 15 minutes of video. Doesn't call the police. Nothing.
You know, so
But
go ahead.
your Good Samaritan story earlier just reminded me of that. Is all. I really didn't need to bring that up.
Yeah, in regards to like the Mormons thing there, Skull, looks like our audience has done fled. We were talking about how the Mormons were knocking on the door and whatnot, and they believe some weird stuff. But I think I'm gonna cut it off here. So sorry about the boomer. I fucking did it again. I forgot to put the desktop audio back on. Damn it. Oops. Thanks
Boomer of my heart.
Shut up. But yeah, you guys have a good night. And like I said, because I know we covered some like tidbits and things like that. I just don't dig everything if you can. Dig for information on your own and don't just take people's word for it. Perfect examples is medical stuff, the stuff being passed around about Marky, HS. Please go digging for yourselves. Go look at all the information and then make a informed decision. Go away. Golly. Anyway, you guys have a nice night. We'll see you in the next one. And don't forget, Nick Rikita's stream is tonight at 11 p.m. Central. I will be getting clips if there's some stuff that sticks out. So, you guys have a wonderful night.